live again. Let me so I'm trying to see if I'm live. In the midst of talking, it died on me once again. So we are live again. Yeah, so apart from the idea that in the middle of talking, it died on me. Not sure why, but we're back for now. So yeah, I was in the middle of my thought and I looked up my screen and said disconnected. So we'll keep the party going though, man. I'm not gonna let it stop me. I'm gonna keep it going. Let me update some features on my side here, and then we can continue on. So other than that, give it a second. Let more people join us again. Yeah, new video, not by choice. I was forced into it. I was forced into another video without my permission. Yeah, but we back here. Man, yeah, this is once again, not sure how bad of an issue on my end, but everything appears to be working fine apart from using OBS software, which whenever it wants, I guess it goes down. So they're using all types of servers in different countries, so I guess we'll figure that out. Refresh the chat on the video. Let me see. Good point there. Let me grab a. All right. It says refresh the chat. So it should be refreshed now. I'll exit out of that one. Possibly. Okay, so we good. So we're back on live now. So I apologize for that stuff outside my control. It was, it was very, when it died on me in the midst of my interview and talk with Rick Rule last week, that was majorly embarrassing, but one of them things, nothing I can do about it. So what were we talking about, people? What were we talking about? We're talking about the migrant situation, and I have some thoughts on it, but I'll leave it at that. And so question is, what happened today? Someone mentioned that the markets went up a little bit. And so I guess the mainstream salesmen, analysts were back out there pumping the market, saying that it was just a scare. That's what I was told. It says, I'm pretty sure that if Jesus was president, that would be his move. What move would that be? I would suggest sending doctors instead of soldiers. Better answer, I guess. Spirit, yeah, but see, here's the thing. There's laws in place and there's procedures to get anything done, in an orderly fashion. And so while it might seem that it might be inhumane or whatever, might be labeled as, to send the military down to the borders, and so it's, I guess, better to send the military than doctors, just because if you show that you are willing to cater towards and welcome openly with warm arms by medical help and things of that nature, it's going to bring more people to this country, of which I don't think our country can really afford any more so the tax burden, the debt burden that's already in play now that we're having problems with our own citizens. Nevertheless, to take care of other countries and their issues, given the fact that we already overextended via military expenditures, the defense budget, and all the program budget. So, yeah, and on top of that, it's a matter of order. Like, so if you go through the process to come into this country, I don't know how that breaks down, but there's a right way to get it done, and just bombarding our borders, I don't think is the right way to get anything done, because then what? If they just rush through, then where are they going to go? They're going to overcrowd and bring their culture, their way of life into our metropolitan areas, and it's going to be a clash, because second, third world living is quite different than living in this country here, which a lot of people. Especially if you've been down to the Latin American area and you've seen how people live down there off bare minimum, like just barely getting by off a dollar a day type of thing. Imagine those same people coming into your neighborhood, sleeping under your bridges, sleeping in the parking lot, sleeping in there, sleeping. It's going to run down your city, and the cities will be overwhelmed by poverty even more so. We can't take care of our own poverty, our own poor people here. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think it's the right way to do it, and this caravan is not the right way to do it. It says Obama used Operation Phalanx for the border. Bush used Operation Jumpstart to send troops to the border. It says it's always be just a scare until it's not. If you have no borders, you have no country. Hot welder. I agree 100%. So the USA cannot send its military within its borders, then can only send the Guard. Now that's now who can go where? I believe I'm pretty confident that there's unless it's flat out war, we're not supposed to have troops assembled in military fashion on our grounds. I'm not sure exactly where. That's from some document. I think it's a declaration or a constitution or one of them. But the National Guard will be ideal. But does the National Guard, are they armed and able to defend themselves, or they got flashlights and handkerchiefs? It says Mike, so what you're saying is receive them with soldiers, don't kill them, and somehow they'll stop coming. They're in a caravan to enter. They're in a caravan to enter legally, not to sneak in. So Spirit, here's the thing: like, if they're in a caravan to be willing to go through the process of entering peacefully, I'm sure I'm sure people will be able to understand the fact that with thousands of people coming to a checkpoint to go through a single door, it would take several weeks, months to run background checks, all the things that's needed paperwork wise for all these people. Some are from Latin America, and some I'm sure are from nowhere near the Mexico area. So the process for people to get into this country would take a very long time. And so what are people supposed to do in the meantime outside the gates if they can't get in? They're going to overcrowd some city in Mexico or sit and just cause trouble and just basically drain a city along the borders, entire economy, because they are coming here to enter legally. I don't think they're here to enter legally. That's the problem. They've been promised they're going to get in regardless. And here's another thing. I could be wrong, and somebody let me know, but has there been any news from Congress? Has Paul Ryan, the Speaker of the House, said anything in reference to what he plans on doing? And so as of now, only thing I hear from the mainstream media is the fact that Trump is sending troops. But how's our government? How's the other governing bodies responding right now? And I haven't heard anything. So it's like either they're sitting back or they know something that we don't know in reference to this migrant situation that they're not going to concern themselves with because it's midterm time. So they don't want no parts of anything controversial in the fact that they're trying to get votes right now. So they're not going to take a stand one way or another because their careers are on the line right now if they don't get nominated again for another term. So here we have, a lot of stuff that's just not adding up. But sending the military, it's more of a defensive thing than it is to open up our arms, say, "Oh yeah, come on in, just stand in line, and we'll sign you in. Come on in." And go where? Do what? Most of these people are coming here. They can't really contribute much to our society other than hard labor type jobs. I mean, of course, some people are able to do some things with their hands, but the people who are of high skill set, they already flew in and they're here already working and have green card visas, whatever they need to get to work. So it says 8,500 troops have been deployed to San Francisco. It says Trump has already taken immigrants in from the Obama left. This is just a continuation of acceptance of immigrants from other countries, just like Germany and UK. Yeah, and so that's another great thing. And I mentioned this last night, or I think in a comment. Somebody left a comment that was not very friendly, and they mentioned about me spreading fear or something like that. I'm like, I'm not spreading fear. I'm just sharing with you what's happening. It looks like the tactics being used by those that are, in power, they use deficit spending to overburden governments. They use division in the social media realm / the social order of things to divide, color, racial, you name it, anything they can divide us, they'll do it. And then another one was, there's another D. Can't think of it. It'll come to me. But those are the 3 D's that have been used. Oh, I think it's damn. Anyway, but it has something to do with what we can consider what's happening in the EU area with all those migrants fleeing from Syria, as well as all the African migrants coming up, and overpopulating Europe. And we hear about all the tragedies that's happening there, whether it be the Muslim population that's raping women in Norway and Poland. And there's so many just stories of things that we don't hear in the mainstream news, of course, about what happens when you have people from a different land coming to an area that's civilized and more upscale and bougie probably, but yet they cause a lot of problems for a lot of people. And it's good to say that the same things would happen here. And that's not me being funny style or anything of that nature. It's just a class of culture, people. It'll be a clash of people who, we are. Yeah, I'm gonna leave that alone. Anyway, keep moving. Get spending too much on the topic. It says, speaking of the careers in line, when is the SEC going to pass some crypto regulations in the U.S.? Brando, man. Yeah, I think, it appears to be right now politicians and all the governing bodies aren't really concerned with regulation right now because it's a lot at stake in this country politically with this midterm election for sure. Then you got all the stuff happening with the economy and yeah. So I don't foresee anything favorable news-wise coming out that's going to cause that next boom, but yet you never know. You never know. But I'm sure you can agree, and it's quite obvious that with every single financial institution getting involved in that sector, it's just a matter of time. Distraction, division, and debt. Michael, good one. It wasn't distraction, but that'll do it. Crypto regulation in the U.S. is due for June 2019. Regulation. So the question will be, what type of regulation can we expect? I'm more so interested in reference to, I think I read something about the IRS is looking to formulate some stronger policies or something to better clarify, I guess the taxation behind cryptos and whatnot. So I'm not sure how it's going to play out, but we'll see. And so I got a super chat from Richard. Richard, I appreciate you, my friend. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. It says November 11th. So, Patrick, November 11th as far as what, the IRS situation or what? What exactly is that date referring to? Let me know. And then another thought was the video that I posted after the migrant situation was the Susie Orman video that she did recently, of which she was saying how she's, people should be excited for a recession, because, everything's on sale once again. And what was interesting about that little minute and a half clip is the fact she said that don't take your money out, dollar cost average into the markets so that when there's a crash, she said, so that when there's a crash or a correction, that your 401k and your I think she said IRAs will allow you to be so much more richer or something in the days ahead. And I'm thinking I'm like, hold on a second. So she said, put more money in now. So when there's a correction, after the correction, your retirement is going to be better off or just as good. And I'm thinking I don't think she thought that through, because if people dollar cost average into it now and it tanks and corrects to what it, the free market says is fair value for it, people will lose more than half, if not, all of their perceived wealth in those instruments. And then on the other end of that, they're not going to come out better off. They're going to be worse. And so I'm thinking man, I wonder, does she think that this next crash is going to be something that will be historic? Or does she think it's just going to be another hiccup in the road? And then another thing was she's giving advice, and I'm sure I'd be willing to bet that she doesn't participate in the conventional retirement vehicles that the middle class and some of the high income earners have, because people who have multi-million-dollar businesses and brands and corporations, those businesses are their retirement portfolios. They don't have 401ks and Roth IRAs. Because that stuff for them is chump change. They're losing money by parking it in those type of vehicles. So I'm thinking she's not one of the people who have those products, but yet she's telling people to stay in it and get more of it. I would be very leery, people. So I posted that just because at the very end she says, you know, if you took your money out, what are you going to do with your cash? And I'm thinking like, what can you do with your cash? And then I put, get your weight up. Get your weight up. And speaking of which, people, if you look below this video, I've actually come up with some get your weight up hashtag shirts. And so I thought I would mention it because it is that time of year. So actually, I'm going to put up on my screen. And I want to get your guys' thoughts on the shirt because I think they're kind of nifty. So here we have the official Get Your Weight Up t-shirts. Hashtag Get Your Weight Up t-shirts. I just, created a design and put my order in, so I'm going to have some coming for myself. But once again, for those that, understand what the Get Your Weight Up motto is all about here, and if you guys want to, represent the brand and help people understand what it means to get their weight up, feel free to, where is it over here? Feel free to scroll down below, get one of the shirts. They're cheap as they can come, and so they won't set you back none. And you can be a part of the community with the t-shirt. So I want to throw that little plug in there. So if you guys want to do such, I would encourage you to be a blessing. Be a blessing to the show. What I'll do is let me see how did I take this out. I'm going to put this link in the description if anybody want to, drop a 20-piece and acquire a shirt that I think you enjoy. And so I also got this shirt here along that same thing. So, you guys, if you're interested, feel free to do so. But other than that, I got a couple other designs on my mind that I'm going to play around with. And so, yeah, definitely, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. I like, as you guys can tell, I love putting together all types of crazy stuff. But anyway, let's get back to the chat. What's going on here? Says Tony, what if he did? Coinbase and XRP are parked out front of the SEC headquarters. What else you got here? Susie Orman, baby eating lizard. She thinks that you will be better off because she discounts cost of living. Yeah. How you doing? Let me see. In theory, is Soros financing the crazy people? Saludos from Monterrey, Mexico. And that's the thing, Mr. George, his name is mentioned often because he's been known for being the initiator of all types of tragic events, but then he's also on the receiving end, profiting from the destruction. So, no clue. But we have a caller. Oops. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from? Russell from Missouri. How you doing this evening, my friend?
I'm better than I was yesterday, but I'll be even better tomorrow.
That's good. Now, is your phone volume turned all the way up? I have everything turned up on my end, but it's still low. I'm hearing you very slightly.
Let me see here. Let me check.
Appreciate that. Or if it is, never mind. We'll make do. What's on your mind tonight, my friend?
Well, I was just. Is that better?
Yes, it is.
Can you hear me better now?
It is better. Yes.
Okay, good. Good. All right. So, what I was mainly wanting to call and ask you about was this next coming incident, whether it is starting now or happens in a year from now or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
How long do you think? And I know this is just going to be an opinion because nobody knows, but how long do you think it's going to last? And how much, because I've just starting to accumulate some silver, coins, not spot coins, stuff that you can get as close to spot as possible.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. To supplement my a little bit of food storage that I've got, different things like that.
Yeah.
But how much do you think a person is going to need if it does come down to Armageddon, where America becomes 6 different countries, or whatever happens? How long do you think that is going to last? and how much do you think that we will, need to get by until there's finally some, maybe a little bit more order, maybe a little bit more ability to sustain yourself without having to go on emergency rations and things like that?
Man, that's a very good question, and just my guess, because no one can really tell, and so we use prior history as models of how things shape out. And given the fact that the manipulation has been going on for 10 years now, that they have done as much as they can to suppress and to press down the inevitable of market correction. So with all this papering over negative rates and all these secret bailout funds and stuff like that, I think when things go haywire, it's going to be a complete monetary global event. And so typically in the prior years, it's isolated events here and there. But yet this next one is going to be an entire currency. All global currencies, I believe, will have some problems because everyone's going to be forced to print. And how that plans out, I have no idea. So I would imagine if every currency, fiat currency around this planet is tested with confidence and people begin, just upheaval and riots and protests, there might be several years before we see some form of normalcy as to what we're experiencing now, or we may not ever experience it the way that it is now, especially in this country. So it's been 10 years of manipulation. I would say at least 5 years of chaos / the adjustment to a new world, period. Because credit, in my opinion, won't be as readily available as it is now in this country, because we can charge every single thing now. So if credit is not readily available in the future, then people will be forced to live within their means, and this country will be extremely expensive to operate in, and a lot of people won't be able to afford it. And so, like we have malls, everything is just, I see about 5 or so years, give or take, on a good end. This is my opinion.
Right. Well, what do you think about the fact that in the reality of the manipulation of the money started truly, if you look at history, started back at least in 71.
Right.
Because that's when they took us off of the gold standard.
Right.
And even before that, I used to think, because I'm not a young chicken, but I used to wonder, is Fort Knox really full of gold? Do they really have that as much gold as they're saying? Because how long has it been since it's ever been truly audited? How long have they gone in there, touched the gold, and said, yes, we have this much gold here? They haven't done that for probably, since way before 71.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering if that would be considered yes, we've had recessions since then and things like that, but never anything that was a true reset.
Yeah, I agree.
And so if this is a true reset, is it not going to go off of, at least 40 to 50 years worth of manipulation? Because they've been doing this Austrian economics for at least that long.
Yeah. Yeah, and so that's the thing. On a short end, it could be a 5-10 year time span, but I think afterwards it's going to be a completely different paradigm as far as the way people do business. Like I think if there's a complete meltdown, like I believe is possible, a lot of things will be shaken, such as just the very concept of retirement, because the baby boomer population, they're going to be the primary ones shafted on a lifelong's worth of savings that's gone or reallocated or hyperinflated away or whatever happens to that. Then you got the younger population, the millennials, that witness all this. We're the ones that are in the workforce predominantly now. And so the demographics will change, because as we get older, I don't think the millennial generation, 30, 40, 50-year-olds now, are going to still continue to play along with that put aside money and these financial, piles of nothing at the time, anticipate some type of retirement. So it's going to change the whole landscape, because I think we're going to be forced to work longer. So it's going to be an adjustment in ways that I don't think we've ever thought of. So the consequences will take a long time to adjust to, I believe.
Yeah.
But
could be.
Yeah.
Could
but
be right there.
I appreciate you calling in, my friend. Thank you for sharing your thoughts tonight. I appreciate that.
Thank you for all you do, and keep up the clarion call.
All right, my friend. Thanks. Have a good one.
You too.
All right, bye. Yeah, man, that's real talk there. Real talk. Yeah, so the number above my head, 1-833-LIVE-RTD. Open talk tonight. Call in, let me know what's on your mind. We're streaming live now, so I see some people in the chat saying, is this scripted or whatnot? This is straight up real talk. It's giving you a chance to share what's on your mind and go back and forth and, shine some light on what's happening around us, and as well as educate people that's tuning in. So feel free to call in if you want. We are here. So got a couple more minutes before we log off for the night. Apart from having done 2 videos due to interruption that was not my fault, but we're still going to make it work anyway. So what else is going on in the chat? Excuse me. Says so that will be a good. That was a very good question. Once the truth is known and everything goes belly up, how long will it take to go back to some type of normalcy? And I think because it's been 10 plus years of financial manipulation after the recession, as far as debt is concerned, I'm not sure if we're going to really recover fully the way we think we are, or could live again comfortably. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, it's Craig out of Beaumont.
Craig out of Beaumont. How you doing, my friend? What's on your mind tonight?
Well, man, I was just sit up there and I've been observing everything that's been going on for the past 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And the only thing that I can really see, it keeps bringing my mind back to the times when we did have those crashes or those scares.
Mm-hmm.
Go back to I remember the crash in '87 when they came up with the Black Monday, and then I also remember, and that was when I was in middle school.
Yeah.
And then I also remember the Y2K scare, and also the dot-commers when they exited the doors in 2001.
Yeah.
2000, and the debt bubble of 2008.
Yeah.
And the reason why I'm bringing it up is that this one right here, what's coming up now, is what everybody's experiencing. I don't think it's going to be all that bad right now.
Yeah.
It's not going to be like everybody is, because it seems like it's all being fluffed up right now.
Yeah.
And I've always noticed each time they had those scares of patterns, there's always been hysteria, on the masses, and then people would just react in droves.
Mm-hmm.
And then when time comes, it would be not as bad as they would say, with the exception of 2008 bubble.
Yeah.
The 2008 bubble.
Yeah.
The 2008 bubble. When I experienced that, I remember they said some key words. They said, "Oh, this is an exciting time, and the market's is doing stronger than ever."
Yeah.
But yet, I kept seeing store closing.
Mm-hmm.
So what I did, I just moved my money out because I didn't believe them.
Yeah.
And I guess what I'm saying is that we can actually be our own demise.
As far as
a
go ahead.
As a community,
Mm-hmm.
as community, because we're reacting on what's on the news and what's on the media, and a lack of research or a lack of information.
Yeah. Now
because we hear those sound bites.
Yeah. Now let me ask you a question. Now I can understand your point completely. Now you said we could be creating, or we could be playing into a furthering of this crisis is brewing. But what about when we look at the screen, or we look at some alert that says the Dow just dropped 11 points, 10 points, or some type of 300-400 points. And so most people, I'm sure a lot of people are tuning in right now, we're not in position to control the markets the way that the people with the long funds are able to control it. So if there's a higher force out there manipulating and playing these games with us, as far as what we're seeing, do you think it would be wise to, would you ignore it, or would you respond and just, being a good steward of your own finances, probably have to reevaluate your holding position if you see all this up and down, up and down, up and down, or would you just ride it out? Because most people react to what they see, mostly out of fear, of course, but I think a little, in some ways, common sense has to come in to where you're like, man, hold on, I know what happened before, and I know what could happen next time. And so many people are saying that this next one could be the big one. Would it be crazy to just, be cautious as opposed to, playing into the fear that's out there, even though, because the numbers don't lie. in my opinion.
And I agree with you 100%. But there's another thing that doesn't lie.
Mm-hmm.
There's another set of numbers.
Yeah, what's that?
What you actually have in your pocket.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you start talking about these hysteria things and Y2K and all that other stuff, there was a whole lot of us. In fact, I fit into all that category.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, man, I didn't have the money to save myself from it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So, the reality was I was poor then, and then when it happened, I was still poor. Chances were I was going to be poor the following day.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing that I'm getting at, is that you're going to have this massive wave, and what it really is it seems like it's trying to have a snowball effect. But there's one thing about snowballs.
Mm-hmm.
Snowballs only gets larger with more snow.
Yeah.
But when you're a boulder or you're a rock or something that's more dense than the snowball and don't stick to it, I mean, man, it's not going to affect you anyway.
Yeah.
And reason why that might be a poor analogy, but what I'm saying is that it could be to effect. I mean, I'm not saying it's not real,
mm-hmm.
and it is going to affect some people. But when you're already poor, you experience being broke.
Yeah.
Okay. So, in a layman's sense, if you were and I'm not attaching that to fixed income people or anything. I'm just saying in general.
Yeah.
People who were poor. They were hustling that day. They were hustling yesterday, and therefore they know they got to hustle tomorrow after the crash.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. Good point.
The ones that's gonna the X point. The ones that the undecided factor is the ones who don't know how to hustle.
Yeah. Yeah. So definitely, I think with this next situation, because unemployment we'll probably have, probably record high unemployment rates coming up after this whole situation, because most of the jobs are held together by, easy credit for a lot of people. All the consumer based stores and retail places are all consumer driven. So once people stop shopping and people are forced to just settle with what they have, everything around us will come to an halt, and then there's going to be a matter of people not knowing or not having work, and people will be forced to get out and create and use their imagination to figure out how to add value. Or on the other side of that, people will hit the streets looking to steal and riot and do whatever else they can do to feed themselves. So it could be two different worlds that are coming.
And the thing about it, the hit the streets is going to be different, because it's going to be, it worked in the past,
mm-hmm.
but in this new thing, you're going to hit the streets for what? A lot of your brick and mortars, I've watched the past 10 years.
Yeah.
The brick and mortars have been on the steady decline.
Yeah.
Steady. And then, in fact, these past 3 years, it accelerated.
Yeah.
Because I remember I used to go to the mall, and and that was one of my big things, just take a stroll to the mall, see what's going on, one little window shop. I may buy something,
yeah,
or I may not. But the one thing I noticed that disappeared immediately was those little mom and pop shops in the middle aisle where they like little gold trinkets, or whatever they have they little local home business.
Yeah.
But I noticed those disappeared quick.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. I got a lot of malls in the surrounding Metro Detroit area that's gone. Like, just buildings are sitting there, empty parking lots, got all fields in them now. And so, yeah, retail has changed, as well as the invention of e-commerce and things of that nature, which has changed once again. So along with this shift away from the norm, there's going to be creation of a lot of new businesses and opportunities that we haven't even thought of yet. So, there's going to be some people who are going to benefit on the other side. So, but that's just how it usually goes. Whenever, businesses aren't able to maintain themselves, they go out of business, but yet bigger and better ones pop up. So, but I appreciate you calling in and sharing what's on your mind tonight, though. I thank you for that.
All right, no problem.
All right, you have a good night, buddy. Appreciate it.
You too.
All right, bye. Yeah, man, always. Good talk there. Good talk. Good talk there. I like that. What else we got here? What's going on in the chat here? It says, you mean, what is that? Yeah, man. But it is what it is. So, before I log off tonight, wanted to let you guys know that this week, on Thursday, Thursday, I have 2 live streams I'm going to do with 2 gentlemen, and I call it the Golden Opportunity Day. And so November 1st, which is Thursday, is going to be the honorary Get Your Weight Up month. So I'm going to spend a lot of time covering the news, really trying to promote the idea of, helping people come across the idea of get your weight up. So I'm going to need your help, people. And so there's no way that one person can reach the masses, but with a community, I'm sure it's possible. So I'm going to be looking to post a lot of videos and do a lot of news stories in reference to precious metals, just because that is the backbone and the anchor to our long-term financial stability. Given it's time tested and history has proven that weight always carries itself well in storms, hard to blow away. So with that being the case, there's going to be a lot of hashtagging going on. So if you guys find it of value and of good information, feel free to share it and hashtag and tag people so people can get involved. And also, one of the interview on Thursday afternoon is with SD Bullion. And so, as I mentioned, we got a special opportunity that I'm excited for. I participated in myself, getting my weight up a little bit. So, going to give you guys a chance to do the same. And we have a super chat. It says, Brando Commando, what's up, my friend? Thank you for that. It says, will you buy silver or crypto with this fiat? Beer is a good answer, too. Thanks, Mike. Good point. And so, with this 777, I'll probably let it sit. No real need to, I'm not real need to get rid of it. So I'll let it sit there for a while until it's an emergency or until I need it. But more than likely, I'll assess what has the most interest. I would assess what I have the most interest in that day. It could be silver or it could be crypto. But anyway, go. As I always say with my 3 S's, you can only do 3 things with that: spend it, speculate, and save it. So I would put it into something I can save, such as metals, something I can speculate, such as cryptos, and something I can spend, keep it as is. So I appreciate that, though. Appreciate that. It says, looking for at least a double bottom in gold before we see new highs. Yeah, Pat, I don't even pay attention to the prices like that anymore, just because I'm, like I always mention, I'm past the point of, looking at prices, because I'm not seeing a price that excites me, because I'm not really and looking forward to having, any type of, get rich right away type of thing. I'm thinking long term, like 10, 15, 20 years, building something and being able to position myself to where I have some form of continuous cash flow in whatever currency comes after the Federal Reserve note. I want to think generational wealth, along with those cryptos and metals is coming, price-wise, increase-wise. So, just me. It says, Mike, what is your day job? Tony Blaylock. I run I'm involved in a couple things, but I'm involved in a youth development program for the most part. And so, doing that for a while now. It says, free information on gold-backed crypto. Mike, I bought your shirts. My guy, I appreciate that. Thank you. It says, it was real for him. What else we got here? It says, just like you can't be sure heaven is actually real. In regards to that, I'm not even sure what the question is. But yet it's all a faith issue. It's, it's a belief. You believe it or you don't believe it. You're going to be right. You're going to be proven right or wrong one day. So, all right, me personally, it's nothing wrong with. Here's the thing: when it comes to issues of faith, there's nothing wrong, in my opinion, with believing. What's the worst that it can do for me when I'm above ground, alive and well, other than give me some type of moral background to fall on, principles to live by? But if I'm wrong, on the other hand, and this stuff is real, then if it's real like it says in the book, then it could cost you a lot more than it'll be worth. The headache and dealing with for eternity. So yeah, I still I don't see the problem with believing in something that won't hurt you whatsoever. Like, yeah. And the thing is, it's not one of them, being a believer in Christ is not one of them things where you're told to go out and do certain things and you got to prove yourself to your God. He just says sit back and let me be God and watch what I do. And so he said, you be hands off, trust me. And I'm like, okay, we'll see what you do. And for whatever reason on my end, he's always showed up in ways that I would have never imagined. Says Mike, nothing on the CME doesn't want to add gold to the CME future. Tony, I have not been following the CME at all. I don't know. No, I don't follow it. Other than some videos I come across, I haven't covered it just because it's the backbone, the kingpin of the manipulation, that market there when it comes to the metals. It says, belief is something you don't know. Knowledge is key. It says, Mike, that's being religious, not from faith, but from being afraid. Being religious. Being religious. Okay. Like, yeah, okay. Yeah, but at the end of the day, it boils down to your core beliefs. And if you believe that there is no such thing as a God, fair enough. I don't think that's being religious. That's like, you're saying that there's no higher power. And, I assume that you place yourself as the master and creator of your fate totally from beginning to end. If that is the case, then, that's fine. That is fine. I have my own rich imaginary life. I prefer the reality also. Funny, if you took out heaven, no one would be in church. Everyone else selfishly just want to be hit in the religious jackpot. Yeah, and that's unfortunate because, the word church or church, the way we see it now, is not the motto of church that is biblical in and of itself. It's a gathering. So, to get, go a little deeper, church, the word ecclesia means, called out ones, those that are, separated from the pact. And it's actually a political term. And it has a lot to do with Rome, the Roman Empire, and how their political structure was, because the church were the Sanhedrin of the council. That was considered the church, the called out ones. They were the governing body of the Roman Empire, along with Caesar being the head honcho. But yet, a lot of the biblical models come from, Christ made sure to model a lot of that stuff in ways we can understand by referencing the Roman Empire at that time. But that's on some other stuff. Says, my poison of the day is what looks oversold. Brando, very good point. And of course, we know what that is. So it's okay for you to believe what you want with me, just as long as it's okay with you that I don't. At least not what we've been taught. Pat, that's very true. Like, that's the thing. Like, I'm one of the type of people where when I was younger, I was very zealous and had to prove a point. I felt like I had to get my point across to show people that Christ was the only way. But then I realized, you can't force anything upon anybody. It's called free will. And then I realized, like, what am I doing out here trying to, evangelize and basically just assault people trying to get my point across? I'm like, it's, everybody, as the Bible says, everyone's called, but few are chosen. So everyone will have their come to Jesus moment and their opportunity, whether they accept it or not. It's free will. And so I don't worry about it. I know that in my lifetime, I've had the privilege, and I haven't done it much, but I had a chance to, witness to a lot of people in several countries that I've lived in. And just to see how, whenever the subject matter comes up, people show interest. Now, whether or not it takes root and it grows, that's on them. But, I'm just called to just share my story, my testimony, and let God do what he do. So I don't really pay much attention to any of the details. Lennox, my man, I appreciate that. Thank you for that. What's that, a picture? You hold some paper. What type of paper you holding there, Lennox? Look like some foreign notes. Questions. It said, did you read the article about Iran leaving the SWIFT system before November 4th sanction deadline? Philman, I did not read that one. I'll pull it up real quick and see what popped up on that. See if that's some hot news. It says SWIFT exit for Iran as sanctions loom. October 18th. Says Trump's new sanction, Iran sanctions may hit snag. And so the question is, if they leave the SWIFT, where are they going to go to? They're going to go to the chips, which is the Chinese something inter payment system or something. Or, as I mentioned videos ago, there's, Germany, France, and Russia, I think, are coming up with their own interbank payment method in order to do business with Iran. So there's going to be a lot of alternatives up and running real soon. And I read that Iran is, they have a little skin in the game when it comes to Bitcoin. And so they're definitely in the Bitcoin sector as well. The country of Iran. Somebody corrected me one time for saying it wrong. Richard, my man, thank you for that. I appreciate that. I forgot how I said it, but someone just left me a comment like, you don't even know how to say it. I'm like, yeah, I'm not from there. I'm just telling a story. I don't really pay attention like that. It says Iran has been saying that for a few weeks now. The chips is on the Swift blockchain. Wow. If it's on the Swift blockchain, that's going to be interesting. Oh, no way, really. Middle fingers in the air. I have 1.2 million Iranian rial in a box under my bed. 1.2 million Iranian rial. Really? And so I wonder, does that have anything to do with, you're speculating an idea that there will be a correction in the rial and you're going to do something with those. So, but what? Shine a little light on me with those things there, because like I know when it came to the Iraqi dinar, I think it was, people were, there's some YouTube channels out there, people buying Iraqi dinars as they were going down, anticipating some type of revaluation to where they can go back and sell them, and make off with those things. I'm thinking like, you just bought a lot of worthless paper, because the government more than likely will not honor those notes because of the speculation. If there's more Iranian rials or Iraqi dinars outside the country, it's good to say they're not going to allow those things back in and make people rich in that way. It says report shows USD usage is down from 90 to 60 for global international transfers since Trump took office. Spirit, I don't doubt it at all. I don't doubt that at all. And it's real subtle with that. It's so subtle that you won't ever hear about it on mainstream news. You're only going to hear about it from, Russian news sources, RT, which of course, you take that with a grain of salt, and just no side stories from alternative media area. That's the only way you're going to hear stuff like that. And that's a problem, because, if no one needs a Federal Reserve note, what about us? Domestically, we still need them. It says, now I hear the Iraqi dinar will make you a real millionaire. Some scandal somehow. Yeah, I wouldn't bother to waste the remaining purchasing power of my Federal Reserve notes to acquire a currency that's already dead. That doesn't make much sense to me. It says, what do you say? I got a few 5,000 Guyana bills I can send you if you want. A few 5,000 Guyana bills. So I take it you're a currency collector. And so are those Guyana bills worth anything, or are they just souvenirs? Because I love collecting currencies as well. All the currencies I've collected are from places I've been, or souvenirs from countries that have gone belly up. But if you want to send them to me, as a souvenir, I'll take them. Shoot me an email, my friend. Admin at rethinkingthedollar.com. I'll give you my P.O. box. You can send them to me. I'll add them to the collection. Says you got to look up Swift system. It's out of Switzerland, and the only reason the people are trying another blockchain is after 9/11, the U.S. asked and got the codes and have raided it several times. Tony, I don't doubt that. I've heard about raids on Switzerland gold. So I wonder, is that interlinked anyway whatsoever? It says I have about 30, so that will be impotent for within 5 years. Jesse James, yeah. And so knowing that the dollar, is coming towards the end, the question should be, what are you going to do with the remaining purchasing power of the notes you have? And so the idea, and that's the thing, like if we all foresee a time where the purchasing power of the dollar will be non-existent, to think about the idea of sitting on large stashes of things denominated in Federal Reserve note, to me is insane. So yeah, I would not want to be stuck holding the last bag of paper. It says Carrot Coin Bank is the first crypto bank operating worldwide without a capital of USD and my own Carrot Coin exchange. Yeah, so I'm familiar. Familiar with the Carrot Coin, whatever. And so because it's the bank and things of that nature, I think they have a branch down in Florida or something like that. It's up and coming, so it has promise, but yet it's one of many other crypto gold-backed type of coins out there that, I personally, it'd take a whole additional time allotment to actually uncover and dive deep into that stuff to really familiarize myself with it, to feel comfortable with recommending it, and getting involved directly. So I haven't really done much about that. It says, did you read an article where Saudi Arabia is buying U.S. dollars to invest into U.S. tech companies to try to diversify their portfolio? I did not read that, but I don't doubt it, because they're a part of their 2030 plan. They got to get out of just the oil energy business, because that's not doing them any good anymore. So I thought SWIFT was out of Belgium. Is it Switzerland? Let's just look it up. Let's just look up SWIFT and see where it's out of. SWIFT is let me see, SWIFT banking. SWIFT banking system, what pops up? SWIFT banking system, where are we at here? SWIFT. Let's find out officially. It says SWIFT, key people products. It says headquarters is in La Hope, Belgium. It's been there. It's 45 years. Created 45 years ago. It's La Hope, Belgium, is the headquarters of the SWIFT. So whoever guessed that or knew that one, right on. Right on. You can convert back and use it. I have Vietnam Dong as well, a bunch of currencies, and they're not making moves at all. Really, people got their paper game up. People sitting heavy in a lot of different papers. Held in ours since 2010. That ain't happening. What's not happening? Looking to Caribou coin, they're offering free coins. Making moves, kindling. Yeah, man. But people, it's past that point. So we're gonna draw this thing, bring it to an end as it is right now. But as I was mentioning before I got sidetracked, Thursday got a great day, planned. 2 interviews coming, and it's going to be what I call the first day of the Get Your Weight Up, hashtag Get Your Weight Up days, Get Your Weight Up month. So I'm going to do a lot of things in reference to importance of precious metals and gold. And so definitely stay tuned for that. And also tune in at noon on Thursday. I have a guest, James Anderson, the market analyst from SD Bullion, joining us with an announcement. And then Thursday night I have a gentleman who is a mining stock educator. So he's going to educate us on some mining stocks and the idea of holding gold in a different form. So going to be a very informative day on Thursday. So make sure you guys tune in the very first day of November. So I'm looking forward to that. And other than that, as always, people, give us the video a thumbs up if you've enjoyed the conversation. Sorry about having to break it up into 2 portions, but things happening. So give us a thumbs up real quick. Hit that thumbs up button. Let me know your thoughts. Leave a comment down below if you're tuning in late. Other than that, I look forward to bringing you more news updates. And as always, connect with me below on the social media side of things over here. And then if you want to support your boy via the Patreon, I'd love to be a blessing that way. Or Bitcoin address is up above if you want to show your boy some love via Bitcoin. So other than that, everybody be good. Have a good night. And don't be afraid to get your weight up with one of them shirts in the link down below. So other than that, be safe. Peace.